Everyone's talking about AI taking jobs, but what happens when AI starts talking and doing financial advice? So today, on the Wealth Guide podcast, we're going to talk about how technology is reshaping the money conversation and why so many people and smart investors still want a human at the table. Okay, so everybody, welcome to episode 62. Today we're going to talk about the future of financial advice in the realm of AI automation and the human edge. So the perfect guest and the ultimate guest to have on this particular topic, we're very blessed, Mandeep Sodhi from FE. Thank you for joining us, the guru of all gurus. When I think of AI, I think of you.
God, guru is a big word, but thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, we were struggling with other guests, so today we've got Ricky and Dean from Riker. No, we love you guys, you're the best. So they're our executive financial advisors, and it's a world that we're all working in financial advice and figuring out how automation plays a role, what's safe, what's not, how do we do it, how it reshapes money conversations, not just in, you know, how we talk to clients, but how do we invest, what research, all those kind of things. So today what we want to just sort of talk about is how it's in changing investment management, how we look at tech, automation, and AI in general. So I guess we can start off with Mandeep as the guru. Like, what's already here? Let's talk about that.
I mean, there are a lot of things already here in AI. I mean, you must have seen all the clips going on in LinkedIn where people are sharing a voice AI, and that's being used heavily now. So over 12,000 calls are made every month through our AI bot now.
It's 12,000
12,000, and it's only been launched just 3 months ago.
Have you had any formal complaints about too many work hours from your AI bots?
Yeah, well, actually, she's been on 2 dates. Virtual dates. So we have to tell her not to date anyone.
Have you sussed out who she's dating? Like, do they meet the standard?
We did figure that out, but we had to stop it and before it was too late. And and the people we informed that they were talking to a bot were actually quite sad that they were setting up a date with a bot.
Too funny. But that's a real thing though, right? It does happen, I'm sure.
It does. I won't go into too many details, but yeah, we just have to control it.
Let's stick to the tech part. So, you know, this is definitely your realm.
Yeah.
I am only new to AI. I was that person that was like, AI is for the weak, ChatGPT is for the weak. I have an education, I know how to spell, I know how to do grammar. I'm not going into any of that realm. And then all of a sudden, and I don't know if you would agree, but I feel that in the last, say, 9 months in particular, and maybe it's just because I'm now in that sort of realm, but I feel like in the last 9 months in particular, AI has just, the surge is astronomical. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so, I mean, AI is actually just going way so fast, it's becoming so intelligent, but it's still looking at the past data to make some assumptions. It can do superannuation planning, estate planning as well. I've seen some really nice calculators. Where I'm seeing the AI adoption is more in the young generation. I'm talking about more on the financial planning side.
Yeah, of course.
Because that's the topic here.
That's what we want to talk about.
Yeah, and I mean, our AI is more used by finance brokers, but I'm also seeing it in the financial side. You have this young generation that they feel they cannot afford the financial advice, but their requirements are quite basic. Like they haven't gone to that complex, tax planning or anything. Their requirement is just, can I make next month? With this much savings around.
It's more just like a cash flow and a budget.
Cash flow budgeting, like that's been around for a while, but now AI is kind of helping them. I'm going on a holiday next year, can you help me save with that? So it's really kind of that. Yeah, so you can do that. But where it comes to the complex scenarios, like the people who are in that situation, they still trust a human.
Yeah.
Where AI is kind of helping is, well, what I'm noticing is like people are getting statement of advice and from the financial planners, and they're just uploading in ChatGPT now saying, find something for me that I should be going back to my financial planner with some questions. So that's happening a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So you're gonna get a lot of questions back from your customer and you go, well, hang on, how the hell are they even asking these questions? And this could be like, why didn't you put my 2 properties in recourse borrowing? And you're like, oh, that's kind of a very technical question, and how did the customer know about it? Like, so you gotta be now prepared. So the generation where it's moving, or the financial players where they have to have an edge, is they are going to be less of an information provider. I mean,
Yeah.
good financial planners have never been an information provider.
No.
You got to be a.
I see how
protector of
hard
the-
these guys work. They're definitely not information providers.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at, and I'm just talking general, like
Yeah.
what's out in the market, but people are not gonna be going to AI for
Yeah.
everything.
So, what I would like you, if you can, and again, I said to you, AI is very new for me.
Yeah.
There's a thing called Robo-advice platforms. Do you know much about that, and what is that?
I've seen some of the really cool robo-advice platforms, not in Australia, but I was in New York a couple of weeks ago and came across a couple of them which were doing really some cool stuff. Some of them were even doing some nice calculations, estate planning and all those things.
Yeah.
But when I was downloading them and the terms and conditions, when I was going through it, it was clearly just saying we're not liable for this. It could hallucinate, and it just freaked me out. It was like, why would I even trust this thing? Because the terms and conditions is just saying you're liable completely for what you do.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be held accountable. Whereas if a financial planner does it, well, guess what? I'm going to be coming, hey guys, what's going on? Like, I lost my.
Yeah. Yeah, and what are you guys seeing for yourself? Like, I know we talk about AI in the office a lot, and it's something that we talk about with trepidation. But we do know it's here, it's growing, it's a part of our future and our tomorrow. How are you finding integrating with any of that in any format within, the world of what we do from investment point of view?
I love AI. I think of AI as a fresh graduate from uni, right? It's just the interested, keen, excited, eager to go,
Yeah.
but doesn't know a lot, right? So it's a good
really
tool.
good analogy, Ricky.
You can,
I like
you can
that.
really use it, but can't rely on it 100%, right? So you wouldn't give him the most absolute reliable task to do,
Yeah.
but it's a great tool to use. And like with anything else, right? It's just another tool. We use it for the betterment of, be it advice, be it anything else that we use.
Yeah.
But then I still feel human factor is still very important.
Oh, 100%.
It's still artificial intelligence at the end of the day. It's learning a lot and it's gone through a lot of growth and development. So many things have come out, like you alluded to as well, Mandeep, like making phone calls. I've only seen like some demo on LinkedIn and all that. I don't understand the legal ramification and all that at the end of it, but it's just amazing and very interesting where it's going to.
Yeah. So, Dean?
Oh yeah, I was going to add something as well. Look, I think just touching on what Ricky's saying as well. Look, it's from some of the stuff that I've played around with and I've actually seen. It is quite powerful and a great tool where you can run scenarios, do some modelling and projections and things like that. But then the next question is, and then a little bit in depth in that layer there would be that is this actually relevant to my circumstances, right? Is this right for me? And that's the thing that obviously they haven't been able to crack. So great tool, but there's still obviously other little bits and pieces that.
So we talk about the rise of, and I've done a bit of research for today, so when I say these things, I just want you to know I don't know a lot about them, so I'm really leaning on particularly you, Mandeep, for this particular subject, but the rise of predictive planning. So this is where AI can have algorithms that project, and a buzzword we've had today is inflation, longevity, investments, things like that, faster than any human. And again, what are your thoughts around those kind of things? Like, is it an advantage? Is it a disadvantage? How precise is it?
Is it an advantage? I think definitely it's an advantage. How precise it is. The AI doesn't know your exact goals sometimes, right? So, and there are a lot of nuances. I'll give you an example, a real example, right? So, we've got one firm that looks at your budgeting or your bank statements and go through your 365 days and go, well, this is how much you're spending, and you kind of write notes for them so then they can
It doesn't want to see my 365 days of spending.
Well, not mine either. So, and what it did was before it was submitting to lender, because I'm talking finance brokers here, this was a very interesting case where they actually came back to us. Actually, it's not doing the right thing. So it said that you're spending $700 on pet, but when the broker looked at it, it's like, but hang on, there's something wrong. For the last 3 months, you haven't spent on pet. So he called the client and said, look, I got these notes, I'm preparing submitting to lender because we've got to do your expenses. You haven't spent anything on the last on the pet. He go, yeah, my pet actually died and I don't intend to have a new pet. But AI couldn't pick that up, right? So AI couldn't ask the customer like, hey, why aren't you spending it? Maybe in future it will do that.
So it's still predicted that spend.
Correct, but it's predicted that you're going to keep spending that. So it will get smarter and it'll probably now give it to the broker saying you should ask the client, and thankfully this broker picked it up. But this is where I feel like, is this precise?
Yeah,
Probably
I mean, there's
not.
obviously a risk, right? Of
Yeah.
a fake economy, a fake outcome, a confidence on the flip side of it. It could
Yeah.
give a different confidence. It's really not there as well.
It's overconfident, hallucinate sometimes, you can guard with that, but hallucination is still a problem.
Yeah, well, I was talking to ChatGPT last night, and it told me it was going to feed me out some information. Just give me 1 minute, and 20 minutes later, it still hadn't fed me anything. And I'm like, you're wasting my time. I need to go to bed. And they're like, good night. So,
It's an important tool that you can't do without in this day and age, I feel. Like, you'd be at a massive disadvantage if you didn't use AI.
Yeah.
100%. But can I just ask the question then? So I agree. I like it for a support system. I like it to level up or to make sure if I've done something, I'm just like, I get it to fact check it to some extent. But then put it in the ethical side or the regulatory side. Where does AI fit within that? And like, there's so much conversation and debate around this. I mean, I'll lean on all three of you for that, because I know in our practice, that's where we have trepidation. What is your thought of that as an expert in this area?
I wouldn't say expert, but look, the way I'm seeing is the regulators are still getting their head around it at the moment. They don't want to stop the innovation, because when they try to regulate it, they don't understand they're trying to understand what they're trying to regulate first, right? And who is to be blamed. So they've made it very clear that whoever's using it, the decision maker, is to be blamed.
Yeah.
In your case, or financial planning case, is the licensee, right?
Yeah.
Because the AI providers are clearly saying, we've said in our terms and conditions, it can hallucinate, so it's your problem now. So regulators are not stepping in, so we're completely going to ban AI, because that's going to stop the innovation and everything that needs to happen. And in fact, there was a release from ASIC now. They are restarting the innovation hub. So they launched it in 2016, but it kind of lost its mojo, and they were not kind of getting it right. Like, they were becoming a hurdle. They were not providing solutions. They were saying, your problem.
Just giving you more obstacles.
Giving more obstacles. Go get a lawyer. Now they came back. Actually, they made a release this week saying we're going to provide solutions as well. We want to work with them. So they're kind of getting their head around it, but regulators are still, I think, behind. They're letting the market kind of, go and do something about it, and then come back to them.
And they're saying that you are liable when there is a miscalculation.
Absolutely.
It needs to be you the planner, hence you the licensee, and obviously that filters down, and they're not taking any ownership. And I guess nor should they, because we should be fact checking, right? So.
I think ethical knowledge is a very big consideration, isn't it? Like, also, we are putting a lot of data into it. And we don't know where it's going, who's got access to it, what are we putting into it.
Or the quality of the data that's going in.
Exactly. The output is only based on what input is received. Right, so the classic IT, I still remember out of my uni days, like rubbish in, rubbish out. That's what we were taught in our IT class.
Absolutely.
So it just depends on what's been fed into it and who's looking at it, what data they've got access to. As financial planning firm, we can't just be putting client data into it.
Absolutely. Well, it's it's that machine learning, right? Rubbish in, rubbish out. It's behavioural, all of that kind of thing.
And to Mandeep's point, like, at the end of the day, if I've provided the advice, I'm responsible for it. It doesn't matter what tool I've used in the background.
Yeah. And leading on what you were saying before, it's you talk about the example that you use for the broker and how it saw a spending habit where they spent $700 a month on pet, and it still continued and allowed for that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, AI can look at a habit and a plan, but it can't do the things that you do, which is like why. Why do we do it?
Yeah.
How do we do it? What for? All of those kind of things.
The emotional factor is there, right? So, you can call the client and ask them, like, have conversation, and they'll share more when they're having conversation because they feel comfortable. You're gonna ask them like, hey, where did you go yesterday? And they'll start, those conversations lead somewhere, and that actually ends up in their goals, what they want to achieve. But with AI, people are not trusting that hard. Now, coming back to your point about the tools, like the tools I hate the most, security-wise, people are just using a normal like ChatGPT free version or like $20. It clearly states they are using that data to train their models.
Yeah.
Right? So you're feeding clients data and all their life history, even medical conditions in some cases, are going, this is what Mandeep Sodhi is doing, and he's been visiting all these doctors and everything, and you've given all my data to someone.
Yeah.
But I've seen like finance brokers or some like showcasing like how ChatGPT is so cool, You've got to avoid that. Like, you can't do that without the client's consent. So use
It's
enterprise
true.
license as well.
It's true. And, we talk about this all the time, and you guys have heard me say this. So I think that, what we do in financial planning, particularly at Riker, is, we talk about financial advice, we talk about, future proofing, we talk about plans and all the bits and pieces. What we do is very personal. At the end goal, the outcomes, everything we do is very, very personal. And the thing about data is, and it's a statistical fact, data is hard, right? There's no such thing as soft data, it's hard, or for want of a phrase. So therefore, the data that AI feeds out will never have that emotional, that personal understanding. And I think that's where, we lean on you guys is, where do you feel that AI, as we do progress, what are the options that you see that AI would then grow in the space of what we do?
Well, with Robo-advice, I do feel there's a space for it, like at a generic, at a lower end. When clients have just started out, they're looking at what can be done. I think it could be a very good educational tool, if nothing else. So give people an idea to understand what a share market is, what does it do, what the diversification means. So that could be a very good tool. But as we understand, money is quite personal to people. So it's like saying, would you let an AI computer do a surgery on you? Right? This is pretty much similar to
I've seen some doctors, I potentially might.
Well, at least there's a human element that they're observing, right? Well, you won't just trust it 100%. So it's where money would be in a similar bucket to go, it's my money, it's my savings. I really want to have someone really look after it.
I think just to add to that as well, I think one of the key things that I'm seeing here is that it just lacks that personal touch, understanding why people do things, what are we really trying to solve. Look, who knows, it could change. It definitely could change, but I feel like it's just applying knowledge without tailoring it specifically to the client's circumstances. And I think us as financial advisors, that's actually what we do on a daily basis. It's about all the understandings of all the theory and all the compliance and all the rules and regulations. We apply that every single day to each individual client's personal circumstances.
But I also think you're life coaches as well to a large extent, right? It's going, these are your goals, your aspirations, this is how we're going to get there. So it might not be a life coach on this is a degree with you, this is whatever, it's a life coach in money. So, I feel like if we used AI in a way that freed you up from being a calculator, and obviously I feel like you've got to fact check everything, but if AI for us was in an ability that we could be more freed up to do the life coaching, the business coaching, the money coaching, all of those kind of things, I think there's definitely value in that.
Definitely.
But used ethically, responsibly, and all the bits that go with it.
And look, I said in the beginning as well, like we see financial advisors as more of protector of clients' wealth,
100%.
like your educators, right? So where AI is mostly used or being used is, you can be conversational with AI and say, look, I've just prepared this before I present to the client, do certain scenarios for me, and they are going into your calculators and doing and getting the work done for you, which you don't have to do now manually. And while you're on the call with the customer, there's a technology that we're also now experimenting where you have a note taker, but you have your own note taker, and you're talking to the note taker and say, actually do this and send this to the client. Now you don't have to do that after the meeting and take a note and go to your CRM and do this. You're actually telling the CRM on the fly and do this, do that. By the way, let's change the scenario. Will they retire early? Will they retire later? But you're actually guiding it, and you're watching those results coming, right? Because once you prepare that advice, remember what I said earlier, the client is just going to feed that into ChatGPT, and the trust is now becoming an issue sometime, and they go, let me see if the financial planner is really looking after me. And they're going to come back with so many other scenarios, you'll go, it's actually double my work now. Because now I have to respond to these questions that ChatGPT has asked me. So you got to go back to the client and say, look, just be honest, what prompt did you put in? And what answer did you get? Because based on your prompt, then I can better give you an answer.
And that's exactly it, right?
I would still welcome it though. If the client's got questions, that's what they would think as a professional. If they are paying me money to look after their finance, I would welcome it. It'd be like it's good that they're actively taking interest in their own financial plan. So I would actually love it.
And actually, it might open up, sometime and go, actually, that is a good suggestion. Like, maybe we can think of it, but you didn't tell me in your goals. You wanted to achieve that.
We'll give you a higher value and a strategy, right? That maybe you can consider, because it spans further than an individual eye can.
But this is the whole thing, right? So it's about us leveraging and using AI to obviously drive a better outcome for clients.
Yeah.
And it's a tool that you can use. Yeah.
But I feel like it might just throw out just some unnecessary question, like because it's a system learning, might just go, oh, why not this? And then be like, well, you can't because you're of that certain age, you can't put money into super, so that strategy is not available to you.
Yeah.
So I also feel, just thinking about it, you might just get a lot of, I don't want to call it rubbish, but unnecessary questions.
Correct, because you'll have to go back, well, you told me you want to be a bit conservative in your,
Yeah.
but the question and the answer you gave me is actually at a high risk.
Yeah.
And that's why I did not recommend you. So you're gonna get a lot of these questions back and forth. Now I go.
Can I
now I
get
have to
ChatGPT to prepare answer for me?
Well, this tool I saw in the US, they actually got a nice conversational way of explaining things.
Okay.
So they prepare this calculator, but the customer can chat, and then they go, "How did you come up with it? Like, what does this mean?" And it's giving
Yeah, it's
answers
giving
in
you
a very
instant responses
instant
and
responses.
calculations.
And it changes the calculation based on your questions.
Wow.
So that, but again, that's a basic thing. That doesn't look at your goals and objectives.
Yeah. And I feel like, I think we would all I can't even say the word, unanimously agree that we feel that everybody should be having financial advice.
Correct.
Not necessarily everybody can go down the road of an advisor and, whatever that cost relative is for them. The beauty of some of these AI tools, it means that everybody can access advice even in a simplistic form, but at least something is better than nothing. And I think that's the key takeaway, and one of the things that we all talk about. We want everyone to deal with Riker, but as long as you're dealing with someone or somehow, and you're checking it off, at least I think it's giving more people advantages to future-proof their life. Or
No, I probably would like to add a disclaimer to it,
Absolutely.
when you go to the GP tells you don't search your symptoms on Google because you're going to get different answers, right?
Dr. Google.
No, I agree. It's obviously got to come with that caveat of fact-checking and bits and pieces,
Yeah.
but it certainly gives people access to something they never had access to.
Absolutely. I do feel like it could be a very good educational tool.
Absolutely.
But again, it needs to be checked. You're probably better off long term
Yeah.
getting someone else looking at it to make sure that does add up.
Yeah. And then I guess if you would move away from AI, and we talk about the human edge, how do we then make humans and AI collaborate even better than what they do now? So we talk about bringing it all together and having that personable approach. Any suggestions, any ideas?
I think the AI can also be used to help the financial advisors as well. Like, don't just think from the client point of view as well. Like, how much time do you spend calling your clients, what existing clients, like reaching out to them every month or every 3 months, 6 months? Sometimes financial advisors forget about that because there was such a huge pipeline of clients.
Yeah.
Like, you can use this voice AIs and everything to kind of reach out to the customer, not give the advice, but at least just checking on them, like, hey, when is the best time to. I know, in my personal experience I had in the past where, like, the financial advisor doesn't reach out to me, and every year there's like, can you sign this? I'm like, what am I signing? Like, I just completely forgot about you, and you're sending me something document. So that check,
Yeah.
you need to do, the interest rate changes or whatever they've got, estate planning. You can do that now, through these AI tools that are available to make your job easier.
Yeah.
Not just like the voice AI side, like there's so many things like document checking. We were discussing so many scenarios earlier. It can do that for you. It can even create like emails, schedule tasks, and all those things. So then you don't have to worry about. You focus on building relationship with the customer and giving them the confidence that they are on the right track.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes into. It's right, like you still need a human to create that workflow and that intelligence and that understanding of what makes sense, when, why, and how.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So when can we get brain chips installed?
Yeah.
I'm already here.
I thought you already had one. You're always working. You never fly. You go 1,000 miles an hour all the time.
Well, I was looking for a newer version, 2.0. So.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk about the next decade. So we just spoke, and again, you will have very different stats to me, but I feel like in the last 9 months in particular, AI has just surged. I don't think that's going to slow down anytime soon. So what does that look like over the next decade from an advice point of view?
From the advice point of view, I think from the tool side, the tools will go like way advanced.
Yeah.
Like the ones you're seeing right now, the simple cash flow budgeting, they will get into the areas where they can be super intelligent, start recommending stuff to the clients as well. But still, again, basic scenarios. But regulators will definitely step in and go, okay, now you're kind of crossing the line. Either you become liable for that,
Yeah.
or the software companies will have to be liable. But I don't know, like I can't comment on the regulator side, like how
Yeah.
much will they allow. But the AI side, they're definitely becoming much and much smarter.
Yeah.
Right? They can pick up like the things that the client should be
I
looking
think
at.
they can almost pick up empathy as well.
They can, like, we had a very interesting call just last week where the lady just said, look, why are you calling me? I'm just like, and she was just blowing up on our voice AI. And the voice AI just said, look, what is the situation? And like, my kids are crying. And she just changed the tone. Instead of talking about finance for 15, like 30 seconds, it's just like, okay, I'm just going to listen. Like, I understand. I've dealt with the kids in the past. It's just empathizing. And suddenly this cranky lady just became like, okay, well, why did you call me? It's like, I was calling to check on your home loan. Westpac has just dropped the rate. Shall we discuss it? Like, thank you.
How clever.
Like,
Yeah, wow.
if I was that person calling the lady, I would just go, sorry, I'm really sorry, I just will hang up. I'm like, I had the worst call.
Right.
But it can take, like,
Yeah.
it can empathize. And it makes 10,000 calls in one hit, by the way. Like, it's having so many conversations, like,
And
imagine
that's the
having-
thing, right? So, we talk about emotional empathy, things like that. There's a certain level of what it can and can't do. But the beauty of these AIs and the things we talk about in the business of, what's revenue raising versus what's not, what's things that we want to automate, it doesn't get tired, it doesn't get lethargic, it doesn't feel like it's getting a head cold. It can make multiple calls, it can record all the data, it's just so much more efficient. And, whilst it can't replace the human edge, what it can do is provide an extra service.
Good. And for the next decade, coming back to your original question, I feel like, the financial advisors, they will grow much faster.
Yeah,
Right.
well, they can level up in the areas they want to
Correct.
level up in.
You don't have to go, well, I've got like an admin staff to do this, until then I can't do this. Because your admin staff is your AI now, right? So you're basically just having conversation, hey, can you prepare this for me? Can you get this information ready for me? And it's going to have it ready in like instantly, near instant. So right now what's
Downtime is
holding
less.
you back is all this admin stuff. What I feel.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to be a pessimist too, but I grew up watching Jetsons. I still don't have flying cars.
You do have a George
They're
Jetson
coming,
line
they're
going
coming,
about.
mate, they're coming.
We still don't have the flying hoverboard and all that sort of stuff.
They got the flying cars, they
We
explain
do.
It's just
They're
not
around.
It's just
License.
not that freely
There's-
available,
there's
right? That's
other
what we
shows
thought it was going to happen. So look, I'll definitely feel there'll be changes,
Yeah.
but to what extent is to be seen, right?
Ricky is our handbrake in our business. He's always like, whoa, we're not doing that.
Don't get carried away.
Don't
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Is there anything that we want to add about AI in the world of financial advice before we sort of wrap up today? Because I have a last question for everybody.
I think I covered pretty much all.
I think you did. You're amazing. What about you guys? Any questions or
Well,
anything you want to add?
Like I said, I do think of AI as a great tool, both from client and advisor end. However, the ethical dilemmas or consideration needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
Not only just from advice point of view, now sort of sidebar a little bit, like the amount of electricity and water and the resources it consumes. We've got to think about all the data centers and all the power it's consuming.
And also the
So-
protection of the privacy of that information as
Yeah.
well.
Exactly right. So, but it's a great tool. I mean, something that I feel we get too dependent and won't be able to live without, maybe perhaps.
Well, that's because you use it to send me an email. Good morning, Melissa. How are you? Right.
See, I can just talk to it and just send it.
It does it absolutely. All right.
Well,
So
just if
yeah, go, of course.
what I'm noticing is like the clients are relying on AI a lot more than you guys, right? So I
They're
have like my
fact-checking what we're doing.
I have my 4-year-old who just says just ask ChatGPT. Like if a 4-year-old is relying on it, my wife, like anything that comes in just feeds into AI, tell me, summarize it for me, I don't have time. She's cooking and just forwards it. And it's actually answering back, right? You're gonna have much more problem with the statement of advice,
Yeah.
the customer is going to give to ChatGPT and go, and ChatGPT has to give them some answers
Yeah.
to show them
Yeah.
value, and they're gonna come with so many scenarios, so just be prepared for that.
Well, obviously, not to wrap it up, but just, I know we're just about to close, but
No,
I've
it's all
even
good.
seen people are getting psychology, like psychiatrist sort of lessons through ChatGPT. They're talking
Oh,
to it.
100%.
It's giving like proper answer. Like it's really helping people.
ChatGPT is my buddy. Manus is my buddy. Manus and I fight. Do you use Manus at all?
No, I haven't.
Manus?
Yeah.
Manus?
Manus, yeah.
Manus?
Manus.
Manus, sorry. Do you call it Manus or Manus?
Manus.
Alright, I just call it a menace.
Manus,
Because
yeah. That's
Manus argues with me. It's so funny. But it argues with me, literally debates with me. So I'm not friends with Manus. I don't like it.
It's a healthy debate.
I don't know about the healthy part.
You love it, Mel. You love it.
Alright, so just to wrap up for today, I'm going to ask you all three of you a very random question. Assuming legislation, regulatory requirements, ethics, all the bits, data protection, solution for all the energy that it's using. Fast forward, you're a financial advisor in 2030. And AI is a part of your world. What does a great AI approved advisor look like in 2030?
I'll sum it up in one word and I'll say efficient.
Okay.
Well, again, it's a tool that won't replace humans, in my opinion, because you still need a human, and we like interacting with humans. So I feel in 2030, 10 years time,
It's
it'd be
actually in 4 years, just so you know.
2030 in 4 years time, that's correct. I'm not talking 10 years, 2036. It would be a great tool. However, I don't feel in finance, especially in some industry, it will take over completely.
Yeah.
I feel some industry will still have that. It will still remain a tool to use.
Alright, so I'm going to pick on you, Ricky. What does an AI-friendly advisor look like in 2030?
Efficient, I feel, like what Dean said.
Oh,
Effective.
okay, thank you. It's all I wanted was a different word. Okay. Mandeep, we know you're all across it, like you eat and breathe and sleep AI. How do you sell Ricky on what a good AI advice is going to look like in 2030?
In one word?
You can have 10 words if you like.
Okay. Well, the guys that said efficient, which is FE anyway,
Yes?
that's how the FE name is derived. In 2030, I think the financial advisor will have a much more profitable business and much better relationship with the client, because
Yeah.
you will understand the holistic view of the client
You stole
on
my
your
word.
teams. I'll stop. I don't want to steal any more words.
Go. I love it. No, I agree. So I just think if we fast forward 2030 and all those tick boxes that we are always, concerned about are ticked off, that, as advisors, we would be definitely a much more holistically efficient business, a much more profitable business, and a, much more forward-thinking business. And again, it's assuming all those tick boxes have occurred, yeah? So, okay. Well, this has definitely been very interesting. AI is something that makes us very nervous, but it's here to stay, it's here to grow. So thank you so much.
Thanks for
I
having me.
always love when I talk to you. I always feel more confident, a little bit more after I've spoken to you about AI. Every time. So thank you, Mandeep.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Mandeep. Thanks.
Ricky, Dean,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
See you all again soon. Nice shirts. And that's
you.
it. So next time on the Wealth Guide podcast, we'll unpack the psychology of money in couples and how financial alignment can make or break a relationship. Technology can crunch the numbers, but it's our values that decides what really, really matters. So I'm Melissa from Riker Capital, and this has been the Wealth Guide podcast. So thank you for joining us. And I just want to say, remember, use tech to get faster, but stay human to get better.